Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Sports Lab. Got a little tongue-tied this morning. We have Week 14, the week of the rivalries, and we've got a special guest here in the house, friend of the show, currently kicking everybody's ass in fantasy football in our league, 11-2, owner of the CD's Nuts football team, good friend. What's going on, my man? How you doing, dude? What's going on?
What's happening? I had to rep the DAC jersey.
Got the Dak jersey. Yeah, I've got my ownership jersey here of the Bears to let everybody know that Aaron Rodgers does own the Bears still. It is going to be a good day of football from what I can see. How you feeling about your Cowboys going into play against the Washington Red football team today?
Yeah, every time I play Washington, Dak's 7-1 against them, so let's go. And then Mike McCarthy drops a bomb and says, "We're going to win." And I'm like, all right,
Ooh.
it's either going to fire them up or it's going to piss Washington off enough to kick our ass. So we'll see. I'm excited, though. It's at noon, so my anxiety will be out of the way early. So let's go.
Yeah, it is getting to be December, so we know what that means sometimes for the Cowboys. Do you think that'll happen to them this year? I think they got a good enough football team where they may avoid their December curse and on they tend to have.
The December curse was with Tony Romo, so Dak has been good in this.
He's breaking the curse.
Dak and Romo are not the same.
Yeah. Romo knows what plays are coming. Remember, he's a lot better. Not a lot better, but I just talking shit.
They're
but
different players, man.
yeah,
Romo was really, really good in November, and then tough in September or in December. Dak has traditionally been pretty good in December. The couple seasons he had a good team. His rookie season went 13-3. So
yeah.
Let's go.
We'll see. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game. They look like they've got the division on lock for sure, but this right here is a big game though because they're really only 2 games ahead of Washington right now. They're 8-4, Washington's 6-6. So one win here for Washington, it could really change things around, possibly in that division.
They play Washington again in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
You could have a division swap if
Yeah.
you don't beat at least one time.
And it's crazy to me that they're actually sitting there, that close in the rankings at this point. I figured the Cowboys would run away with this division because the Giants are obviously not that good. The Eagles, they're rebuilding their franchise around, and then same thing with Washington. They don't even know really who their quarterback was going to be coming into this season. So the fact that they're 6-6 right now is shocking. Yeah. Yeah, impressive, shocking. So.
Yeah, they have a good coach. Ron Rivera's not a bad coach. Their defense is good. They've got, Chase Young is a monster. It's one of those teams, man. Everybody writes them off and then they play them and they get their butt beat by Tyler Heineke or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I don't even know his real name, so that tells you anything. But they compared him to, a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic.
Dude, and I like watching Fitzmagic play. He's good. I wonder what's gonna happen with him next year in the offseason. We'll worry about that when we get to the offseason, see if he lands somewhere else again. But
yeah, well, he got a hip injury and he's an old man, so
yeah.
Good luck.
I got a hip.
Yeah, for real.
And I'll just say right now, my bad, man. In the beginning of that, I don't know if people were hearing you very well on your take on the Cowboys. I had you turned down a little bit, and I apologize. I got you turned back up. We're rocking and rolling now, though.
It is what it is. They already know who's going to win. So.
Yeah, they already know that you're going full in on the Cowboys to beat the Washington football team today. I got to catch myself every time I say their name. The real question is, are they ever going to come out with a new name? Or are they?
Yeah, they are.
I
think you'll in the offseason you'll see it. I think they selected 6 names. Towards the beginning of the season, but you know what? I'm glad they're doing this. They're not just making a rash decision because it's a huge franchise that everybody a lot of people like. They have a lot of money, so they don't want to make a rash decision on changing the name. Because I think if you went right there and changed the name, and you named them the Guardians, come on, man,
come on, Cleveland. That was bad. Yeah. That was really bad. I agree. Dude. I feel like at this point they're building up a brand as the Washington football team. They just need to keep that. Hell with a mascot. Just be like Kind of like the Browns. Just keep your red helmet with the number on it and be the football team.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, it's clean. I think it honestly I like it better than any of their
but think
names
about
come
this.
up with.
Think about this. The branding is the same. So they have the same color scheme, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to make money regardless. They're making money on Washington football team. Then they're going to make more money when they change the name from Washington football team to whatever. I really like a name they didn't select, but a name I wanted them to do was the Red Tails.
Mm-hmm.
So pay homage to the African American, the Tuskegee Airmen back in the day during World War II. I think that would have been awesome. You kind of go, hey man, we're here.
And you go the complete opposite direction with everything that's going on.
Yeah, I think it'd been a perfect name, but hey man, I don't make those decisions. So
yeah, it definitely would have made sense. And what better way to be like, all right, out with the old, in with the new, and to come in
and it's a badass story. I mean, those dudes were awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You talk about like who has the best mascot, and they come up with a cool logo with red tails. Like you can't beat that. I mean, the Air Force Academy has a jersey scheme that they come up with I don't know if they do it every year, but every once in a while they'll do a red tails jersey, and it's super cool looking.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, they did something like that. That would be awesome.
They've got some weird names. I feel like it says they've narrowed them down. I don't know how old this article is though, but it says Red Hogs. Apparently that stems from a nickname of Washington's offensive line during the late 80s and early 90s. Is what they're saying from what I'm reading here. They also have Armada, Brigade, Commanders, and Defenders.
That's the list.
Yeah.
Commanders makes sense because you're in DC. Defenders, I mean, that's the nickname for my career field for the Air Force.
Yeah.
Brigade makes sense because you're in DC. Like those two, like the military nickname makes sense because you're in DC.
Yeah, I would think if like with where they're at, you would want to tie it into like military or
government
something patriotic type.
Senators.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. I don't know if I like the Armada. Like that's.
What about Swamp?
The Swamp, yeah, the Washington Swamp.
Just kidding.
Oh man. Boom! There goes the channel. Yeah, they're losing their minds now.
You don't know what I'm talking about. They're all the Swamp.
Dude, they have the Red Wolves as an option.
I like that.
Somebody made like a idea of a jersey for it, and it looks clean. It's like the white with like the crimson type red that they've got. I don't know if it's a crimson red or is that a maroon red. I don't know what the red is.
It's like a maroon red.
Yeah. But it looks good. Who knows, man?
Either way, they're going to be 8-9 or 9-8 every year. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're going to continue to waste Chase Young's career. And,
maybe. I mean, you know what? Maybe
he may get out of there. He may get out of there.
You think that they'll keep? I think it's Taylor Heineke. Heineke's. Do you think they'll keep him, or do you think they'll draft a quarterback? This is not the year to draft a quarterback.
I don't think they're drafting a quarterback this year. I think what they're going to do is. I wouldn't be surprised if they play like long-term game here. Maybe keep Heineke around for next year, just as like somebody to keep the morale, I guess.
Performing.
Yeah, I mean,
performing,
correct.
Why go get a quarterback?
That's true. And then also to your point with this year though is like the quarterback is. It's not the year to go do it. There's nothing out there that's like standing out. To your point, Heineke is absolutely murdering the game right now. They've won 4 in a row.
Yeah, I know.
Like that should be a little bit nerve-wracking for the Cowboys coming in today. Is that we talk about the Washington football team not being good and everything like that. We like to joke around, but I haven't been paying any attention to them. I'm looking up some of their stuff as we're talking right now, and they've won 4 in a row. From what it looks like, they've only really beat one notable team, somewhat notable teams in that time. They beat the Raiders last week 17-5, which the Raiders, it depends on which week you're catching them, right? Like some weeks they've been doing good, some weeks they've been doing bad.
Their best player is out.
Correct, yeah.
Darren Waller is not playing.
Correct.
And then Ruggs is playing 2K.
Yeah. On the playing my court, worrying about the wrong court because he's gonna be in court.
Yeah. So
and then Seattle, and they beat Seattle 17. Dude, look at this. 2 weeks in a row. Washington beats Raiders 17-15. Then they beat the Seahawks 17-15.
Yeah.
Very, very weird scores in 2 weeks in a row.
The Seahawks have sucked this year, too, though. So
correct. So
not
really notable there. They beat the Panthers.
I think the Seahawks are 4-8.
Yeah, and the Seahawks are not good. Now, granted, they did not have Russell Wilson for a while, but
they've lost what? They've won one game with Russell Wilson since he's been back.
Well, I was about to say, even when he has played, he hasn't been that impressive.
Finger.
I've had him in fantasy, so the times that I've been able to use him, he's been okay. Like, he hasn't been like blow you away performances or anything. But Washington is. Or they beat the Seahawks, they beat the Panthers and the Raiders. The only notable win on this streak really is the Bucs. They beat them 29-19.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, that's a big win. But the other three, it's like, okay. But then they have losses to the Broncos. I mean, but look at their losses. They're not really terrible teams. They got beat by the Packers. They got beat by the Chiefs. They got beat by the Saints. But that was when they had Jameis still. They beat the Falcons. They got beat by the Bills. They beat the Giants. They've basically won all the games that they should win, and they've lost all the games that they should lose, with like the exception of the Bucs game.
The games that you're saying that they won were not against division opponents, besides the Giants. So the thing about division opponents, and because you got the Bears Packers tonight,
correct,
is the rule of familiarity or whatever you say. I can't talk. The familiar face, right? You know their scheme. You know who they are. You play them twice a year. And when the Cowboys were bad last year, they still beat them. So, and I know each team is different every year, but when you know a team so well, it changes the game. And it's kind of why Dallas lost in the AFC West, because Dallas never plays the AFC West. So they beat the Chargers, but then they lost to the Broncos, they lost to the Raiders, and they lost to the Chiefs. It's the idea they're not familiar with their schemes. They play a different game. They play them once every 4 to 6 years. So it's like when you play a division opponent, throw it up, man. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how good you are. You either are going to destroy or it's going to be a hell of a game. And that's how it always is with the Eagles, the Giants, and the football team with the Cowboys. That's how it is every year. Every team wants to beat the Cowboys. We're like the Lakers. We're like the Yankees. They circle that game on the schedule and go, we're going to beat Dallas, and I don't give a shit, and you know that.
Did you just refer to yourself as the Yankees and the Lakers? 100%. Get out of here. Get out of here.
On the same line of them.
Maybe the Green Bay Packers, baby. Maybe the Green Bay Packers.
It's not the level of how many championships they've won. It's the popularity of the team and being a love or hate. So like the Cowboys are either you love them or you hate them. There's no in between. There's no like, oh, the Lakers, oh, the Yankees. There's always an opinion, and it's the same thing with the Cowboys, and you know that 100%.
Yeah.
And it's why you're a freaking Packers fan, because you grew up around that shit.
Yes, 100%, 100%. I grew up
speaking truth.
I grew up around it, and I mean, obviously, I grew up around all the Cowboys fans, and we get to the point where you either, to your point, you love it or hate it, and I got to the point where some not all of y'all, but some of y'all, I can't stand y'all's asses, and it brings me joy when we beat y'all, and whenever Dez drops the ball in the end zone, and all y'all think he still catches it to this day.
Hey, that was a super upsetting game, because we were sitting at the Sig House and we were watching that game. We ordered pizza, drinking beer, and we thought we had that game won.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it. Everybody jumped up, freaking out. We thought we because like
I wasn't at the Sig House. I was bartending that day. I'll never forget it, because every motherfucker in there stiffed me. Like, they didn't stiff me, but like everybody's like tips noticeably dropped. Even like from some of my regulars just dropped. They were all mad at the loss. They were mad because obviously I'm a Packers fan in there, and I've been cheering for the Packers the entire time. Bad strategy as a bartender. Any bartenders out there, I suggest you guys go for the same team as your regulars, so that way you don't make them mad, so that way you still make money when their team loses at the hands of your team.
Dude, and the NFL didn't help it 3 or 4 years after they come back and say, well, in today's rules, that would have been a catch.
Yeah.
Like, man, don't do that to us.
Yeah, why would you say
that?
That?
Man.
Yeah.
Just let it ride, brother,
Exactly. Y'all got a little bit of poetic justice the next week whenever we lost to the Seahawks in very poor fashion.
Yeah,
That was ugly. That one was a
that well
gut
that was
punch.
the was
That
that
was
was
the
the year
onside kick one.
that was the year Russell Wilson, that Super Bowl was the one Russell Wilson, instead of handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch,
They
throws the
threw
ball
that quick slant and they jumped it
and got
and got
intercepted
picked.
by
Yeah,
Malcolm Butler. Yeah,
yeah,
okay, that was
yeah.
that same year. What a
Marshawn Lynch
weird.
on the goal line, and have you seen like the video clips where they ask Marshawn about that now, and he's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Peyton and Eli had Marshawn on their
oh,
show,
he was so funny.
and
He was talking about taking shots at Henny before the show. That dude
oh
is
yeah,
living his best life, man.
they
He's
were
always been so fun to keep up with, man. Ever since he was in college.
they were on the goal line, and they're like, Marshawn, what would you do right here? And he's like, man, hand me the ball.
Hand me the ball. Dude, yes.
Love it.
You look back at that, and that's got to be like one of the like most infamous coaching decisions of Pete Carroll's career, man. Like to choose, you have Marshawn Lynch, and you choose to not run the ball on the goal line.
It's almost as bad as Aaron Rodgers not going for it and kicking a
Yeah,
field
and
goal
kicking the
instead.
field goal instead. That another one, man, right there,
That
dude.
was blew my mind.
I'm not gonna lie. I really like Matt LaFleur. I like that he gels well with Aaron Rodgers and everything. But while we're on the topic, I'm really curious. Like, how much of his success is behind Aaron Rodgers so far? And if the Green Bay Packers do part way, like, is he going to continue to be successful? Because sometimes, I mean, I'm no NFL coach, but some of the things that he does, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I want to say, what was it, last week or the week before last? We were lined up to go for it on fourth down or to kick a field goal or something. I can't remember what it was. I think we were going to go for it. They called timeout, and then they punt the ball. I was like, so it looked like they were maybe trying to get them off sides, or maybe were trying to go for it and just couldn't get it together and call the timeout. But because they were running out of time, like the delay of game was about to happen. My thing is, though, is if your next play was going to be to punt the ball, why the fuck call a timeout? Like, why'd you waste it? Give your punter 5 more yards. It's not going to make that big of much more of a difference, you know?
That's some Jason Garrett style
Yeah.
play calling, like where you're conservative, you're making decisions. You're like, I don't even know what you're doing here. Like, it's fourth down. You have the best quarterback in the league. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go for the win. Don't go for. Was it for a tie, or I don't even know if it was.
Yeah,
for
I think he was going for the tie at that point.
Yeah, why are you going for the tie, man? Like, doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it seems like every week though. There's just a couple play calls that he makes that kind of makes me scratch my head and go, what? Why'd he do that? You know, and then it ends up working out because then Rodgers pulls the rabbit out of the hat on a couple plays later and saves the drive or whatever the case may be. But,
so I think I listened to Rodgers on McAfee's show, Pat McAfee's show a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about some of the passes with Devontae Adams,
yeah,
and their communication, and how Devontae Adams will give him a tip like, hey man, I'm running this route because I see something, or Rodgers will do the same thing. Hey, I see something, and sometimes it's just like it's schoolyard football, and Rodgers makes an amazing pass, and Devontae's wide the puck open is because they made that decision not even
split
on
second.
audible. It was like, hey, I might do this or I might do this.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly which one you're talking about. Because McAfee goes, he's like, we just let Devontae do whatever the fuck he wants out there.
But isn't it? It's to me, it's the same thing with Dak and Amari Cooper. Everybody wants to talk about CeeDee Lamb, but Amari Cooper will make a route look like the most pristine thing ever, and he'll be wide open. You're like, how did he get open?
Yep.
And I guarantee you, Dak and Cooper have the same communication. Now, Devontae and Aaron Rodgers are a step higher, right, when it comes to that. But I would say Cooper is at least in that echelon of being good enough to do that, And I think once CeeDee Lamb gets to that point, I think you'll see a CeeDee Lamb that's gonna be really close to breaking records because he is so electric out there, and that's what Devontae Adams is. And I think if Aaron Rodgers had Devontae his whole career, you would see a Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning situation where the most touchdowns ever, but I mean, of course, the way that the NFL works, you don't get to have somebody your whole career, so it just doesn't work that way. But
yeah,
unfortunately. Devontae, I mean, he was smart in saying, I'm following Rodgers wherever he goes. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
he leaves, I'm leaving. And I love that because that
Right.
means they like each other. That means they trust each other. And you knew that was going to be good for the season. The
Yep.
last dance thing, all that.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, them, dude. They're always on the same page. Like they just. To your point, they know what each other's doing. He even said like Devontae will sometimes just like give him like a look, just like,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like just that small cue lets him know, hey, I'm doing this, or hey, I'm doing that. It's
Exactly.
crazy. You know who another receiver who I actually really like, and I feel bad for him, and I saw a video clip, and it was like, imagine being this good at getting separation on all your routes and having your quarterback continue to sail the ball. And it was a compilation of Darnell Mooney for the Bears. Like, I'll give him some credit here. Dude can run some routes, and it's all these different routes where he's creating this this separation from the defender, like huge, like I'm talking 5-6 yard separations from him on these cuts. And then he's got like Justin Fields or Andy Dalton just sailing the ball, and it's nowhere near him. And
Yep.
it's like, man, if that guy gets a quarterback, leave the Bears, come to Green Bay, leave them.
Yeah,
I mean, we should be able to acquire him over to Green Bay since Aaron Rodgers owns them. So like, should be able to facilitate the trade.
We talk about it, and you say like, okay, it's a quarterback-driven league. Like, you can't win without a quarterback. But then you have the Patriots beating the Bills, passing the ball 3 times.
That was crazy.
They ran the ball 46 times and won the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was 40-mile-an-hour winds. Like,
yeah, but think about this. At some point, the defense has to know they're going to run left or they're going to run right.
Correct.
Stack the damn box.
Yeah, at what point do you? Yeah, because they weren't even doing anything to keep them honest. That was you go back to the always like listening to the Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays because they don't always just talk about Green Bay games. They'll talk about other things going on around the league. That's one of the things they hit on too is how they didn't run the ball they didn't pass the ball but 3 times. Rodgers was like, even in like bad weather games or like in very low percentage chances, you still throw one down the field just to keep the defense honest.
You run a quick slanter, you run a screen, that kind of thing.
Correct,
yeah.
and that wasn't even happening. They were just all day run the ball, and for whatever reason, the Bills just could not do anything to do it, and it limited the amount of time the Bills had on offense, I feel. And then on top of that, Josh Allen, they got him throwing, and he had a below average game, but it's hard to play whenever you're in that type of weather.
15. I mean, he hit Diggs in his shoulder.
Yeah.
Diggs didn't even know the ball was there.
Yeah,
I mean, on a windy day, he had to think, all right, I got to throw this ball. I got to aim it 5 yards to the right so it drifts to the left into his back shoulder.
Imagine being a kicker.
The ball was there.
Imagine being a kicker. You've got to aim the ball outside of the goalpost. You've got to aim to miss and then have the wind blow it back in.
And what people don't realize is when you're kicking the ball, it's not Madden where you get to watch the little
yeah.
And the wind isn't constant. It's not like a straight line 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's going 25, 30, 20, 35,
Correct.
And it's shifting. So you can aim it. It's kind of like a golf shot.
It's a nightmare, man.
Just boom.
Dude, I will say though, I am excited about how the Patriots are playing. I've never been like a huge Patriots fan, but I think that's just because of my hatred of Tom Brady, that I just never could bring myself to like them. But right now, like just watching them play, like I like watching good defenses. Their defense is one of the top scoring. They score a touchdown almost every game. I don't think they got one in the last game or not. I didn't actually see the game. I saw the highlights of it.
I have them on our fantasy team, and they've been clutch.
Yeah, they keep scoring. They have the most points scored out of any other defense going into last week, and I doubt anybody caught them.
Close.
Yeah, the
Cowboys are close.
Yeah, that's.
The Cowboys get a lot of turnovers, and they've had a couple.
They've got to be up there just because of Trayvon Diggs. He's getting so many interceptions, and it's so funny. His son was like, yeah, everybody's giving my daddy all these Christmas presents, throwing him the ball or something like that. I can't remember. His son's funny, man.
No, and and I'm thankful for all the quarterbacks that give my dad the
That's what it
ball.
was. It was for Thanksgiving. It wasn't Christmas. I got ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He's the cutest kid ever, by the way. You
Yeah.
watch him like on Hard Knocks when he was like, "You're Patrick Mahomes?"
To
He's
Dak
like,
Prescott.
yeah, Dak's like, "You still think I'm Patrick Mahomes?" He goes, "No, Dak Prescott."
Trying to find this thing where it has the stats. I was on it like last week while I was looking at this, trying to see how the Cowboys are stacking up as far as like defensive things go. Let's see here. Cowboys.
Come on, Jamie, you got this.
Yeah, this is a one man show over here. We don't have anybody like that doing that. Let's see.
So yeah, number one is the Patriots with 146 points. This is for fantasy. And then number two is the Cowboys at 117.
Gotcha. I'm looking at points per game, like as far as like I want to say this is
like low scoring. And
yeah.
Cowboys probably aren't very high on that.
The New England Patriots are 15.4, and then the Buffalo Bills are 16.3 per game. The Broncos 18.2, Cardinals 18.7, Packers 20.2. Cowboys are
they're probably middle of the pack.
Yeah, 22.3. 22.3, not too bad.
But when you're talking about scoring defenses, I'm not talking about the score.
Correct. You're trying to get like their actual
like interceptions.
Correct.
Sacks,
I'm trying to find their rankings
touchdowns, that stuff.
Here we go.
Fantasy is a great way to roll that because you can see the points just based on a.
I think fantasy is damn near the best measurement for like team defense in general.
Scoring tables. Yeah, I mean, because right now it's Patriots 146.
Well, the Cowboys are
117, and the Bills are 114.
Cowboys are ranked 5th in takeaways. They have a total of 23. They have 19 picks and 4 fumble recoveries.
Yeah, so I mean.
Yeah, how many picks did I say they have? They have 19 picks. I mean, shit, half of those belong to Trayvon Diggs. So, which is insane. That's half, yeah. I mean, he
has 9.
Yeah, he's been absolutely murdering stuff. This week in general, man, it's gonna be a good week for rivalries. You got all kinds of rivalry games going on around the league. You get the Raiders and Chiefs playing against each other.
Baltimore, Cleveland.
I said the Ravens. I meant the Raiders and Chiefs. Baltimore, Cleveland, which, dude, looking at the standings for some of these, divisions, this is a big game for the Raiders going against the Chiefs. They're 2 games behind them right now. They're, 6-6. It's pretty much the same situation as, Cowboys and the Redskins. Redskins, god damn it, got canceled. The football team, the 8-4 Chiefs are just like the 8-4 Cowboys, and the Raiders 6-6, just like the football team. So, the Browns and the Ravens, I mean, the Browns are in the cellar right now, but that division's crazy because they're 500 and they're in last place. That's insane.
Yeah, then you got some cupcake games, like you got New Orleans, New York. That's going to be terrible.
Yes,
Seattle, Houston. That's going to be terrible. Detroit, Denver. Not watching that.
Yeah, I'm no longer watching the Lions until they play the Packers again. I was only watching them in the past just to see if they got a win. They finally got one. Shout. Good job, Lions. Good job. You made it.
Hey, got the dub.
Then they all got COVID this week. They were all out partying too much, celebrating the win. They all got COVID this week.
But Buffalo, Tampa is going to be a good game at 3:30.
That will be a good. I will definitely watch that one. I think the Bucks will beat the Bills, man. So I picked the Bills originally at the beginning of this season to be one of my Super Bowl teams. I picked Packers, Bills. I don't think the Bills got the juice, man. I don't think they got it in them. Them not being able to stop the run is huge. So the Packers haven't been able to stop the run for the past 2 years. That's why they've not gotten past the NFC Championship game each year. They've gotten beat by the run, and they've gotten beat by just not capitalizing on turnovers last year. But the 49ers that year, they ran 180 yards or something like that. And then I think Jimmy Garoppolo only passed the ball 6 or 7 times. Similar situation. If you can't stop the run, like, you're not going to make it, because what will happen is you'll get a team like the Patriots or some other team along the way that will pick up on that, and they're going to beat the shit out of you over it, and you're going to lose. And I don't think they've got the juice to make it on the AFC side.
Well, what's crazy is you mentioned one of the top defenses in the league was Buffalo.
Yeah.
But you think about, like last week, the score was low because they were running the ball. The score's going to be low.
Correct.
Unless you got Derrick Henry, you got King Henry running on people, scoring touchdowns every play. I mean, it's not going to happen. And, like, the games I'm interested in this week, though, obviously the Cowboys I'm going to watch. And then the Packers, Green Bay is always fun. But is Monday night is Arizona, Los Angeles. Because it's the top 2 in the division. I want to see what Arizona is really about. I feel like they're kind of an imposter right now. They have the top record in the league, and they've only lost 2 games, and Kyler Murray's been out for 3 weeks. So I'm interested to see Kyler Murray comes back. I'm interested to see how that looks. I mean, you can't beat that passing offense. I mean, you can't beat DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green. I mean, the Packers beat them.
Unless you're the Packers.
You can't beat, having Zach Ertz, A.J. Green, DeAndre Hopkins. Now, Chase Edmonds being hurt really sucks for them because he's a good running back.
Mm-hmm.
But that offense is really good. The defense is like, okay, what defense are they this week? And that's what I think is going to be they don't really have an identity, I feel like. I feel like their identity is Kyler Murray, but we've seen that fail because that type of quarterback is, like a Lamar Jackson. He's kind of a mixture of Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, where he'll run the ball. Patrick Mahomes typically doesn't run the ball, but he's got that arm strength like Patrick Mahomes does. But if you can contain him and hit him and hit him and hit him, he doesn't play as well. You just have to get on. You have to play that quarterback contain and hit him and make him throw the ball where he doesn't want to throw it. And what sucks is you got to double DeAndre Hopkins. How do you not double DeAndre Hopkins?
And then whenever you do that, you just leave other people open. That's the problem, too.
You leave Zach Ertz wide open in the middle. You leave A.J. Green on the outside, one-on-one, which we know he's still a legit receiver, even though he doesn't know when to look for the ball at the end of the game. But
correct.
But he's still a legit receiver. He's a big body. He can jump. He can catch. He's smart. He's been in the league for 10+ years. I mean, he was a top receiver for years until he kept getting hurt. So, I mean, that's a scary offense. Defense does not scare me whatsoever. Zero. They do not scare me. I'm like, whatever. They got the Honey Badger's not even on there anymore. They lost their best safety. So, they used to have Patrick Peterson, who was an island corner. No, he's not that anymore. So it's just like it'll be fun. So.
Yeah, I am interested in that game. The Packers need some help from the Rams there, so that way we can keep climbing towards that number 1 spot in the NFC. I don't know, man. The Cardinals, I think they've got it, dude. I think they got the juice. To be honest with you, I would not want to play this team in the playoffs at all. I mean, the Packers did beat them. They are one of their only losses. But if you really think about it, like, how close was that game to ending completely differently? A.J. Green runs his route and doesn't, go to sleep basically on the last play of the game.
They lose.
We may lose that game. Yeah, correct. I mean,
it's 100%. So he catches that ball.
Yeah, it's one play different there. So
the Cowboys play him at the end of the season.
Okay.
The Cardinals, January 2nd. That'll be a good game.
That is going to be a good game.
Start the new year off with a bang.
That could be a good game too, because that could be deciding playoff positioning, things like that as well. I mean, y'all play the Washington football team twice. I remember you were saying that twice in 2 weeks. I'm excited. The Packers got a Christmas Day game, dude. They're playing on Christmas Day this year.
So the Cowboys go Washington, New York, who's a division rival, Washington, Cardinals, Eagles. So 4 of the last 5 games of the season are in the division.
Let's see. The Packers, I think we're looking to where we're the same. We've got the Bears this week. Ravens next week. That'll be a good game. Oh, we have 3 division opponents. So we got Bears, Ravens, Browns, Vikings, Lions. I'm looking forward to that Vikings game just because I think that the win they had over us was earlier in the season was a complete fluke.
It made them look bad.
Yeah, they won on a field goal at the end of the game. It should have never been that close. But we play the Browns on Christmas Day at 3:30. That'll be fun.
This year has been a real weird season in NFL football. The people that you're supposed to win haven't been winning.
Correct.
It's been like all over the place. It's any given Sunday this year. So,
well, what's strange is you normally have teams that are 10 wins or 9 win, or maybe one team that's 11 wins at this point and only lost 1 game. But like if you look at the AFC, sitting at the top right now is the Patriots at 9-4. Like that's 4 losses, and to be sitting at the top of a conference is insane.
But 4 losses this year is not as heavy as 4 losses last year. There's 17
correct.
actual games, 18 weeks. I mean,
but
it's still a big deal, but it's 1 less. So you really, if you think about it, it's more like a 3 loss.
Yeah. I agree, but it's just weird to see like so many losses so far. The NFC is really the only side that looks somewhat normal to that. You've got the Cardinals that are a 2-loss team right now, and then you got the Packers that are a 3-loss team. Then after that, though, everybody else is either 8-4 or worse. Like,
do you think? So hear me out on this. This is my theory. So last year was a strange year. We didn't know if we were going to see football at all, right?
Correct.
There were a few teams that had like 10,000, 20,000 fans in the stands, but most of the teams didn't have any fans.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing in the NFL and the NBA, I think you're seeing an adjustment period to having fans back in the stadiums. Because you think about, you win a whole season, you play with your team a whole season, and you didn't have fans. What that does is that allows you to communicate better. It allows you to hear yourself. It allows you to not get rattled in certain situations. And now you throw people back into Kansas City. You throw people back into Seattle. You throw people back into the loud stadiums of the NFL. And now you're like, oh crap, we haven't done this in 2 years. You know what I mean? And I know they're professionals, but the NBA's been strange too. So it's like you go from an empty, nobody there, to even crazier fans than before COVID. And we see all the fights on your videos, like people just decking people for no reason. Like the fans are crazier this year. I went to a Cowboys Panthers game this year, and I've never been to a Cowboys game that they were not just like yay. It was like people screaming, yelling, chanting, yelling Coop every time Cooper got the ball. Like it was like.
I think people have missed it, man. People missed it, and now that they're back out, they're enjoying it more per se. Some of them are obviously going to excess with it, like you see with like the fights and stuff like that. I saw a video the other day. This lady, she is a Ravens fan, and she threw her beer in this guy's face, and like this guy was so mad. He was raging, and he was like, "Rah!" Like all this, and like. They were like, don't hit her, she's a female, is what the guy with the camera was saying. He's like, I'm not going to hit her, but get her out of here. Like, it was so funny. He was so mad. Oh, man, I'll find it and I'll send it to you. But, yeah, the fans, though, it seems like, I think a little bit is people are excited to be back, but I also think, like, some of it is people just not knowing how to act anymore. Like, people are, like, it's weird, man. Like, you go out now and it's like, it seems like some of the common courtesy people used to have, they don't have anymore when they go out. And it really comes out in sports because obviously at that point it's us against them at that legitimately an us against them situation because you got your team, they've got their team, and people are just getting crazy with it, man.
And they have 3 beers and act like they never drank a beer before.
That's true too. I guess people did not drink during COVID, but I had nothing else to do in COVID. But
actually, alcohol sales went crazy once they figured out how they could,
the best thing that came from COVID is to-go drinks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everywhere now, you can get go-go margaritas. And
Well, in Texas, you used to not be able to do that. Like whenever I waited tables and bartended, man, like you were never allowed to let people have to go drinks. Like I had people that like you would have to chase down, like trying to go out the front door because they got one of those styrofoam to go cups and they poured their rest of their margarita in it.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, 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 you can't do that. Now it's like, do you want a gallon of margaritas to go?
Yeah.
Hey, you can't crack the seal in the parking lot, but once you get off our premises, I don't care what you do.
It's cool that happened, but why couldn't that have happened in
Yeah.
2014?
Why was that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why was it ever a rule that you could not sell alcohol to go? Like,
I mean, you could literally buy it to go at the store.
yeah, I get there was maybe the concern with like drinking and driving, but I guess during COVID they lost they were everybody was so concerned with COVID that they drinking and driving apparently no longer existed at that time,
Don't tell Henry Ruggs that.
Yeah, well he was post COVID, he should have known that drinking and driving existed again at that point once we got the vaccine.
I saw somebody. I don't know if it was on Facebook or something. And they commented. They were like, it was a fan, like a sports page was like, just lock the keys and throw them away, for Henry Ruggs. Because they were talking about the court case.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, I get it. We all know what happened, but you have to go through the legal process. Like,
correct.
It's not like you did it, you're gone.
You're gone.
You have to go through. You have
correct.
to go through a trial. Like it
takes time.
Come on, guys.
Just like, and then just like the people that, like, I mean, by no means am I supporting what he did or saying what he did was good, but like, you've also got people that are like, oh, he's playing 2K right now. Like, we joke about it, but like some people are genuinely mad that he is at home playing a video game, and it's like,
he bailed out.
Like, he paid his bail. That's part of the system. They're allowed to bail out when you're on bail. I mean, he ain't got no job right now. He's still
got a couple mil probably.
He's probably sitting around his house or nice apartment or whatever he has, and
What do you think? What do you think he'll do? How much time do you think he'll do? I think
they didn't they say he was looking at like 2 to 20, right? Is like
I think 10 years what they'll give him.
Yeah,
and he'll probably, if they give him 20, I think he'll be on parole by 10.
I think he gets 5. And hear me out on this. I like everybody goes, oh, 5's light, and I agree 5. I do feel is light. I don't think that's a fair exchange for taking somebody else's life per se.
Yeah.
I mean I don't think there's anything you could ever do that is a fair exchange, to be honest with you. But 5 years, and the reason why I say this is there's multiple circumstances surrounding it. One, he's never been in trouble before, right? That I'm aware of, right? So he's never been in trouble before. 2, let's get back to the fact that of how much money plays into what you can do in the legal system. He's obviously not going to have a public defender, right? He's probably going to have, the best legal team he can afford.
There's some technicality.
Yeah.
Something.
He's going to have the best legal team that he can afford. And I would not be surprised if he takes some type of plea deal where they give him, say, hey, if you go ahead and just plea this out, then, we'll hit you with a guilty. We'll give you 5 years. And with good behavior, he's out in 3, serves parole for maybe 10 to 15.
He'd be really smart to not go to trial by jury.
Yeah,
I think the jury will eat him alive.
So he would. I think he would be stupid too, because I think 1, to be honest, obviously the jury, and then 2, clearly guilty, right? I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot to stand on here. There's evidence. There's videos of him driving 150 miles an hour right before he hits her. Clearly there's evidence of him at the scene with his car, the other car that's obviously burned up because it's on fire. I mean, when they took his blood, he was 0.16 or whatever, which is twice the legal limit. And that's when they took it. That's not at the time of the crash. So, I mean, everything's stacking up against him. He'd be dumb to go to trial. He has nothing really to do at this point. So if he goes and basically clogs up the legal system, what's going to happen is they'll find him guilty. And then due to clogging up the legal system and taking everybody's time, they'll give him max at that point, because what the prosecutors are going to be, the prosecutors want to get max on this for sure, because that's a big win for them. I mean, you have to think about the politics of attorneys.
Profile.
Correct. So they want to get a max conviction. However, though, if he wants to just plea it out, then, hey, here you go, 5 years. good behavior 3, like I said, parole for maybe 10, 15 years. He'll probably be on parole till he's 50, 60 years old, but or maybe not that old, maybe 40, but
well, hear me out. Okay, what if he? So you got like another high profile case was Michael Vick, right?
Yeah.
How many years did he serve? 3 or something like that.
Something like that. But he was dog fighting though. He didn't kill somebody.
Yeah, but it was bad, man. And it was.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, it was like murdering dogs, right? So if you think about him, he does 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the exact time. He came back and played because he could still play.
Yeah.
Do you think Henry Ruggs, if he only does, say he does 4 years, do you think he comes back and plays?
Ain't no way. Because, so to my point, I feel like there's a lot of people that are gonna feel the same way as me. There's gonna be a lot of people that are probably upset with what I'm saying here right now. If a lot of people were to ever watch my show, they would probably be like, "Okay, this guy hates dogs." Not true. I love dogs. Okay, but Michael Vick's situation, only dogs. Henry Ruggs killed a person and a dog. There was a dog in the car too. Her dog was in the car. So he killed a person and a dog. And so I think the fact that you kill somebody, I don't think you come back from it. Now I think obviously he gets out of prison at some point, but I don't think he comes back and plays because he killed somebody. Michael Vick, on the other hand, to your point, what Michael Vick was very bad. He had a dogfighting ring. Now, a lot of Michael Vicks, like, where they're torturing the dogs, basically, like, breeding them to fight and, like, basically beating the hell out of them, killing them, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm aware, he did not actually do that himself. He never did that himself. He was more so facilitating the ring.
Money and location.
Correct. He facilitated. So
no, I was just asking the question.
I don't think. Correct. No. I'm just. That's why. Whenever I get my answer, I just want to explain why I am getting my answer. Yeah. Those two things, they are a lot different.
It's not the same as
Michael
as drunk driving, killing somebody.
Michael Vick also took a lot of classes, repented, came back, all that stuff. I mean, not saying that Henry Ruggs wouldn't do that, but fresh out of bail, he is playing video games. I mean, I don't have a problem with him playing video games. I get it. You're probably depressed as hell, like that maybe your escape. I don't know. Like, you just ruined your life, basically. You killed somebody. Your NFL contract's gone, everything like that. I don't fault him for that, but it doesn't look remorseful publicly. You know what I mean?
My biggest question of all of this is Henry Ruggs gets out, plays 2K. He's playing on the boat. Bro, why do you not have a PS5?
Yeah, dude.
Millions of dollars.
Dude, they're hard to get, bro. They're hard to get. That's why, like, it's crazy. I don't know how you located the PS5. Must have been one of them Air Force connections, ran it up the chain. Hey,
I'm gonna put a plug out for the app. If you want a PS5, get Hot Stock. HOTSTOCK. It's an app. It will alert you every time a PS5 is in stock in your area, also online. So what I did was I went on Hot Stock. It took me 4 or 5 tries, like over a period of 3 months. But and it's for price, so I was not going to pay over price for the PS5 because, like, you can buy them for like $800 or $900 tomorrow. But I'm gonna buy them, and it's gonna be. I bought it. I was like, I'm gonna buy it for $500. That's it. Bought it on PS Direct, PlayStation Direct. They throw you into a queue. You randomly get selected, and then you get slotted for one. And I just bought it right there. That's it. This is the app. It notifies you, and you're good to go. So if you want a PS5, do that.
Hot Stock, the app. Hell yeah. All right. Shout out.
First sponsor.
First sponsor. Hey, you motherfuckers, y'all better hear that and come listen to it. We're going to blow up the Hot Stock. Y'all get it? No, but for real, though, how does he not have a PS5?
I don't know. You would think he'd just be like,
or maybe he didn't get into video games until after, whenever he ain't got no job. He got shit to do.
I think he's been playing video games because I forget what his level was, but it was pretty high. I think he was like in the high 90s, and you know how long it takes to get there.
Yeah,
so he's been playing that thing.
I don't know though. He could have played he could have paid a lot of VC,
But you can only pay VC to a certain point.
Yeah, true, because you have to get attribute upgrades.
You have to get attributes.
That's
stuff.
true.
Yeah.
That's
So, I
true.
mean,
They make you play some
you can
way.
get to 8. You can get to 86 by paying $50.
Okay.
I've done it.
Shout out. Yeah. You want to make a new player? It's gonna cost you $50. $50,
Yeah,
and then you gotta upgrade them from there, dude.
I'm telling you, I'm not playing with that dude at 62. It's boring as hell.
Yeah. But man, that's crazy though about with him though. Like it's
insane.
I mean,
I derailed the conversation. I apologize.
No, dude, that was a good derail, man. Like it's crazy to me. Like it's like I want to crucify him so bad for it, but it's like I also like I've driven when I shouldn't have, right? Like I mean, I'm not speaking for everybody here on the call, obviously, but like I mean, me myself, like I've done it. You've tried to stop me before, and I've done it. You know, like it's so it's like I've been fortunate not to do what he did, luckily, but it's like so I want to crucify him, but it's like I've also like put myself in a position where like could have been the same thing, you know. So
it puts it in perspective. You know, you think about it's real fragile what we're doing. You know, we have good jobs, we have you have a family,
right.
We're fortunate, but it can end like that, you know. And so you have to constantly be on your P's and Q's and make sure that you have a plan. Uber, Lyft,
correct.
You know, somebody coming to pick you up and making sure they're trustworthy and not doing stupid things at the bars and it's a problem. And I think in this society anyways, because now you have social media. So if you do hit somebody drinking and driving, it's going to end up somewhere on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever. And then now you have a public opinion, and public opinion is always going to crucify you. And for him, that's what's happened. And it's sad because, we want to look at it and go, okay, he's a horrible human being. He got in the car and drove, went 150 miles an hour. And then we crucify him and we say, there's nothing, rah. Well, I look at it like this, like, I feel horrible for the family. I feel horrible for the people that are involved that with that person that died. But I also look at Henry Ruggs and like, what was he going through? Is he going through some stuff? Is he got some issues going on? He obviously his girlfriend was a part of the whole situation. And I'm not saying let him off, but I'm saying there's a mental health problem in our country that you see all across the board. And I think that that's just a little piece of it. Correct. But my thing is he came from an Alabama system, right? Mm-hmm. Bama just had the Heisman winner, right? They've had some amazing players. They've had Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Derrick Henry. None of those guys are ever troublemakers. And everything you hear about Alabama is they take these kids out of these horrible homes and that kind of thing, and they bring them in and they're like, hey, you're a part of our family now, and we want you to learn football, but learn life first and foremost. And Nick Saban talks about that. Do you hear Nick Saban's interviews when he talks about crucifying these kids or whatever? He goes, you don't know what they came from. They came from these horrible homes. Not all of them. Not everybody came from bad homes, but a lot of them didn't have jobs, didn't have steady meals before they went to Alabama. And he raises them to be men, and I think that's so cool. And really, like, it shows because look, the first quarterback ever at Alabama won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, right?
Mm-hmm.
43 touchdowns this year. That's amazing,
dude.
Like, Bama was a hand the ball off and then play action to Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, and Calvin Ridley. Mm-hmm. Ruggs. Like, I know that's kind of touchy now, but like those guys.
Yep.
And Devontae Smith, right? That's what they were. But now they've evolved, and it shows you Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. They're like best friends, right? There's a whole movie or documentary where they're talking about football and life and leadership, and it's really good. It's on Amazon, Amazon or HBO. I think it's on HBO, and it's like watching genius. The two greatest coaches ever in their respective sport, in their respective realms. College, the greatest coach ever is Nick Saban. You can't even deny it anymore. And then NFL, greatest coach ever is Bill Belichick. And this year proves that he didn't need Tom Brady to win.
100%. And he's getting it all done. Honestly, it's not like his quarterback is playing lights out. Like obviously, Mac Jones is playing better than any other rookie QB right now, but like in comparison to like all the QBs in the league, he's not nowhere near the best QB, and obviously they won a game by him only passing the ball 3 times. That is true testament to Bill Belichick's essentially being able to play, or his defensive mindset, like his approach to the defense. Like he's always been known for that and his game management abilities, and it's obviously showing right now that he's got a lot of pieces in on the defense. A huge help on their defense is Matt Judon coming over to them in the offseason as well. I mean, he's having basically a record year for him. But dude, speaking of like, Alabama, though, switch gears a little bit here to your point with like them having, Bryce Young win the Heisman. Dude absolutely balled out this year. I'm just looking at a couple of looking at his stats for the year. The guy threw for 4,300 yards and 43 touchdowns. And then on top of that, he only threw 4 picks.
Hey, but
dude, like to your point about the being selective, or always having like the big skill players, or the running back to hand it off to. 43 touchdowns, 4 picks. You have some good receivers, don't get me wrong, but that lets you know that you've got a great quarterback with such few interceptions. He's not making bad decisions. He's making very good decisions. When's he expected to come out in the draft?
I'm not sure. I don't know what year he is. Hold on, let's see. I will say Alabama, they have 1 loss this season. And you know who that was, too?
Oh, yeah. Giggle, baby. A&M on the field goal kick. Yeah. It's always so nice when we beat them. It's always so nice. And it seems like we're one of the few teams that can beat them. Well, the last time we beat them, though, was Johnny Manziel.
So, Bryce Young's a sophomore, so he'll play this season. And I imagine he'll play next season, and then he'll probably come out of the draft that year.
Yeah, he'll probably leave as a junior.
Because he'll probably already have his degree.
Because
NFL years and college years are different.
Correct.
It's based on eligibility with college, with NCAA, and it's based on your credits with the school. So it's
correct.
Like I know Manziel was in grad school. He had graduated.
If you get redshirted, it doesn't count as a year. So therefore, like you can get your degree, but it also doesn't count as a year towards your 3 years of college football for the NFL. So like you couldn't just play 2 years and be done. If you got redshirted, you'd still have to play the 3.
Yeah, exactly. I
don't know if he got redshirted though. It just says he's a sophomore. I don't see anything that says he's a sophomore redshirt.
It just says he's a sophomore. So my favorite thing about this last night, I think, or 2 nights ago. So they had the Heisman Trophy finalists, and there was a defensive end on there from Michigan, a quarterback from Pittsburgh, who's the number 1 prospect this year for the NFL draft, Kenny Pickett, and I'll give you something on him in a second, and C.J. Stroud from Ohio State, and we know he crushed it. I thought C.J. Stroud was going to win the Heisman, but Kenny Pickett with Pittsburgh, he's up there, he's got his slick back hair. RG3 is the host, right? I don't know if you saw this video, but RG3 made a joke, was like, he said, "Oh, he's the fake slide guy." Kenny Pickett's the guy that was running across the field and kind of fake like he was going to slide.
Oh, I did see that video. Dude, there's so many people that have been like coming out saying like there needs to be a rule against like fake sliding.
The NCAA banned it.
Really? Yep. The Kenny Pickett rule. That's great. How do you feel about that? You think that they should ban the fake slide or not?
Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you why. Because what happens when you hit a quarterback when he slides?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So what do you do when a quarterback slides? Jump out of the way.
Yeah.
You move out of the way. So what happens when you fake slide based on a penalty? You don't want a penalty.
Yeah.
You fake slide, and you got this linebacker saying, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's going to slide. And then this quarterback just cuts over, and you're like, well, I lost him. It's bullcrap because that is a gentleman's rule. It should be a gentleman's rule. It's like, hey, man, I know this is the rule.
Yeah.
Do it because it's jacked up.
I think I have to agree with you. You've changed my mind on it. At first, I was like, no, like keep it. The quarterback's got to have something in his arsenal when he's on the run, you know. But then you bring up a good point. Now, my argument to that, which I don't think it was a good one, was going to be simply that. All right, well, if I'm a defender and he pulls a fake slide on me, okay, the next time, regardless of the 15 yards or not, I'm going to fucking drill his ass and make him never want to do it again.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's valid. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's unfair to the defender.
Yeah.
Because the quarterback already has 1,000 protections, man.
Correct.
Don't give him that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You already can't hit the guy in the head. You already can't lead with your helmet. You already can't horse collar him, which, I mean, that's good. I imagine that. But
yeah.
You can't hit him too hard. If they're not looking, you can't hit them. Like, Jesus, man. Like,
yeah. You can't drive them into the ground. You can't land on top of them.
Let's give them something, the defenders something. And I'm glad that they banned that. It's so unfair, man. Like, can you imagine, though? I can't even think of a rule that's similar to that in any other sport.
They need to just change the sack for QBs to an ass slap. The defender just, like, when he runs by, just has to smack the shit out of the QB's ass. And I think they would enjoy that game a lot because, like, every time the quarterback, ow!
I give you one better. Just give them flags.
Yeah.
And just the quarterback. And the quarterback got to pull their flag to sack them.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
That's what
it's getting to the point where it's going to be like that. I mean, it's weird to think. It's great, you know.
You know what it's turned into is since the game has morphed into passing and all these complex offenses, mm-hmm. and a lot of teams now are in domes, so the outdoor weather doesn't affect the game as much.
Yeah.
There's still outdoor stadiums, but a lot of them are inside. What's happened is the quarterback has become the focal point of the team. So what do the teams do? They invest a lot of money into the teams, and who makes the rules? The owners do. So the owners are like, well, we want to do anything to protect our investment. Correct. When we talk about Patrick Mahomes' $500 million contract. Yep. Over the lifespan of his contract. You talk about Dak Prescott, $44 million a year, $45 million a year. You talk about Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers over $200 or $300 million. Like, it makes sense. And it's the morphing of the game. Before, you had guys like Brett Favre who would eat shots every time. You had guys like Roger Staubach and Fran Tarkenton that would run the ball like, hey man, I'm running now. You hit me like you hit me. But then also on top of it, you add the CTE concussion thing, where you see like guys like Junior Seau, rest in peace, Junior Seau going crazy and killing himself because of mental problems from hitting his head too many times. Yeah. So you've got to balance it, and I think some of the rules are good. I think the driving to the ground is stupid. Correct. I think some of the roughing the passer calls are weak. Like, sometimes dudes can't stop themselves. Like, if they're running at a quarterback momentum.
Yeah, you got to think these dudes weigh 300 pounds. Like, that's a lot to slow down.
And a lot of them are running 4.40s.
Yeah, correct.
4.540s. Like, correct. Chase Young should not move that fast.
Never. It's insane.
But how do you stop a train on a dime? You can't. And that's how you blow out knees and blow out ankles and stuff like that. So it's like, it's this weird balance that NFL has to figure out.
Real question is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go. I was gonna switch. I was gonna switch into something else, but go ahead.
Until they figure out what will ever happen, because the way the brain's just floating in your skull. Until they figure out a way to, when you get hit, the helmet doesn't jar your head. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to deal with these goofy rules.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully they find the technology to do that. I mean. Like,
there's not. But, I mean,
but the problem is there's nothing they could put in the helmets, I feel like, to do that, because what's happening is, if I understand it correctly, is essentially like whenever you stop, all of a sudden your brain is slamming your skull. What can you put on the inside of a head? Yeah, what can you can put all this stuff on the outside of the helmet to ease the blows to the head, but you still have the fact that you're going from 30 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour. Boom, like that. The shit on the inside of your however fast. I don't know, like how fast they run. Like
like
10.
21 miles an hour, 22 miles an hour.
I'm thinking
That's like
hockey
sprint speed.
speeds, I guess, but
Yeah. They're on skates,
yeah,
brother.
yeah. Either way, though, they're running fast. Like they're running a lot faster than my fat ass can run. Let's put it that way. But I mean, they're just slamming. So like, even if you have like the protection from the outside, you've still got your fucking brain
So
slamming your skull on the inside.
I was kind of getting into this because I love football so much, and I was real worried that the CT thing was going to derail football. It hasn't, but if you think about it, you would have to put like a seatbelt around your brain, because the way your brain is in your skull, it's like the liquid around it and it
Correct.
floats. So you would have to do something inside your head to stop it from moving. It's impossible.
You can't do
right?
that.
Like,
Yeah.
no. I think the only way they could do it is they would have to come up with some sort of sensory helmet to where, I don't think you can prevent it from happening, but if you come up with a helmet, and I think they do this, where it senses when you're getting hit, and you can determine the level of concussion. I think right now you're kind of like mild concussion, severe concussion, kind of the two. I think when you can determine the level of concussion and then stop the inflammation, to me it's not preventative, it's more like reactionary. But it's kind of like COVID. Like, what's the purpose of a vaccine if you still get the virus and still get sick? Why not just come up with reactionary measures to help stop you from being sick? Same thing with a concussion. If you can come up with something to stop inflammation in the brain when that happens, I think you could maybe solve the issue of CTE, where it's like, okay, my brain is like, there's a problem, let's fix it, that kind of thing. So
makes sense. I mean, I don't. I mean, obviously, I don't know, but I mean,
me either.
But it honestly, it makes sense in my brain. Like, if you could essentially stop the after effects of what comes from a concussion, I mean,
it seems more likely.
That seems more reasonable than stopping your brain from
concussions.
sliding around in your skull, because that's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
Switching over though, you talked about the protecting of your investments. So right now, the highest paid QBs in the league are Patrick Mahomes at $45 million, Josh Allen at 43, and Dak Prescott at 40. Right, just based on salary. We're not talking about their endorsements and stuff. I know Dak Prescott's one of the highest paid athletes of like last year or whatever. Right.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers is a free agent this year. Do you think he's gonna top Mahomes $45 million? I think he gets 48. I think he raises the ladder even more.
So if you're talking year by year, yes.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about total. They're not gonna give him $500 million. They don't have. There's not enough shelf life left on him probably for $500 million.
What happens when they build these contracts, though? If you think about Patrick Mahomes, he's $45 million this year, but he's going to be more next year. And
Correct.
They backload these contracts to rise with the inflation of the salary cap. So I think Aaron Rodgers gets a 3-year contract, $50 million a year.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that's the case. I would not be surprised at all. What was that like?
Did you hear that noise?
No, I did not hear.
I heard like a ding 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 ding.
Nope, I did not hear that. I did not hear that. I said that and you were like, I was like, all right, did I say something off the wall? I agreed with you.
No,
God, all right.
It sounded like somebody was like poking something. I don't know.
Yeah, but switching back to. Go ahead. I was gonna say switching back over to college football too, because I mean we're talking about the business side of a lot of the things going on in football. Obviously, Lincoln Riley left for USC. Sooners come out and they've said that they've they've signed a new coach, and they've actually got one of the richest contracts for a first-year head football coach in college history. They got was it Brent Venables from Clemson, right? Yeah, the
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's good? Do you think that's good for the Sooners to bring in a defensive guy since they're maybe leading over to the SEC? You know,
they have to, man. And I think it's good. I think it's good to give somebody. I mean, I know that Clemson's in the ACC, but they have experience with the SEC. You know, every championship game, and you bring in a proven winner. You bring in somebody that's had some great defensive players come out of Clemson. I don't see a problem with it. You got to do something. You got to stop recycling the same old shit. You got to stop getting Urban Meyer. You got to stop getting those guys that they keep playing. They keep what I'm talking about. The coaching carousel is the it's the same six dudes.
Same
So
guys, different face. Same style, different
yeah,
face. Like
yeah.
it's
Like,
always the same.
but you talk about Lincoln Riley going to USC. So this man been there for 4+ years. I don't even know how long. National championship. They went to the national championship. I don't know if they won. Did they? I can't remember if they won.
No, they did not.
Regardless,
I don't think they actually
regardless,
went
they
to the
were close.
championship. They went to the playoffs
They went to the playoffs. Whatever, right?
because I think they
They
lost to
balled
LSU.
out. They balled out, right? Oklahoma announces they're going to the SEC. My man's skips shop and goes to USC to go to the Pac-12, which we know is a weaker division.
Correct.
Number one, he's scared as hell to play in the SEC.
Pissing
Number
down his
two,
leg right
what? Number two, what did Norman, Oklahoma do to you? That place is awesome.
now. Yeah.
Like, what? You want to go to Los Angeles where you got to wear a mask everywhere you go?
Yeah.
You got to pay 30% of your paycheck to the government, to King, whatever the governor's name is. You want to leave Oklahoma. You want to leave Oklahoma where you already have a system built. You've got your recruits, and to go to USC. Okay, have fun, dude. Also, Oklahoma decided to troll him. They bought, or they're going to name, like, I guess, a few inches of a highway after him.
Oh, Lord.
I guess 3 inches. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. What's so funny, man, is I'm curious. Did he maybe think something was up? Did he think like maybe because it doesn't make sense on why he would leave that, right? Like he knows the school's going to the SEC. Like it's a good, even bigger opportunity for exposure for him and more money for him. Like,
I think he's scared, man. All right, I got this real quick. I'm gonna give you this little nugget.
all right,
Oklahoma senator proposes naming 3 inches of highway after departing a football coach. An Oklahoma senator on Tuesday proposed honoring former University of Oklahoma football coach Lincoln Riley by naming a 3-inch portion of state highway after him.
oh my gosh, why 3 inches? Why is that?
Think about it, Dylan. 3 inches.
That's awesome, man, dude. I'm now that you talk about it though, like I've not really thought about his departure all that much though. Why would you leave OU to go to US?
Urban Meyer leave LSU to go to Florida, and then why did he leave Florida for a year, take a break, then go to Ohio State? I mean, we don't know. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same reason people leave good jobs to go to another good job.
Yeah.
But with this one, it kind of strikes me as odd because I think that he and we all joke like, oh, he's scared. I really think he does not want to go through the grind of the SEC.
Yeah.
I think that he sees the writing on the wall. He's gonna have to build his team differently. He's not gonna out recruit. He's not gonna out recruit Alabama.
No.
I don't even think he can really out recruit on the defensive side. A&M. A&M can recruit the hell out of some defensive players.
And then now you've got Texas in the mix too. UT.
Well, and Texas. So you think about the SEC. Just think about it. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, they're like the mid tier. Arkansas, mid tier, right? And they're still good. Then you take A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Then you add UT and Oklahoma. What is like? How do you recruit in that? And I think I know why he went to USC. Just thinking about it, he recruits out of California already.
Mm-hmm.
Why not go to California? You get your recruits already. Kids don't got to leave home. They can stay in LA and do their Hollywood shit.
Mm-hmm.
You can stay there. California is a top 3 football state. So you've got Texas, Florida, California. They all flip-flop every year of being the best recruits, but they all come from those 3 states. So you're not winning recruits in Texas because Alabama and A&M and Texas are winning recruits in Texas. And even OSU can recruit the hell out of Texas. You're not winning anything in Florida because all the Florida schools are winning those guys.
Yeah.
But you're going to California and you're getting those guys because Pac-12 is not that great.
Right.
Well, now you bring your pedigree from the Big 12, or I'm sorry, Pac-12. From the Big 12, you bring your pedigree as a great coach. I've been to the CFP. I've balled out. I've sent people to the NFL that have been successful. I.e. Kyler Murray. Now I'm in the Pac-12. I'm with my recruiters. I'm with my recruiting people, where I
Mm,
can get people and I can build a team. And USC is a good pedigree. Like they were like the top dog
correct.
for years,
Yep.
Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart years,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, it's been about at least 10 years since then, but
it was
yeah,
longer than that, man.
yeah,
15 years. Oh six was the Vince Young versus Reggie Bush
correct. Yeah,
championship game, which was like the best football game I've ever
correct. But
watched.
they were a good team for a couple years after that as well.
Yeah,
Decent,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Well,
I
they
mean,
were a good
there's
team
they weren't as
until Pete
successful as
Carroll
that
left.
'06. '06 was the peak of that for sure, but like I mean,
Well,
it continued for a couple years
I think
after.
if Pete Carroll stays there, they ride the wave like Alabama has.
Correct. Question is,
But Pete Carroll
With
left.
Lincoln Riley coming back, does that possibly reboost that program back up to that? Do you think? You
Yeah.
think that they're going to get back up to that pedigree, possibly may even see like USC in like a college football playoff here in the future? You think?
Yes, absolutely,
I
absolutely.
think when you bring a
Yeah,
coach like that into it with the recruiting that he can do, it definitely sets them up for that. I mean, he had
and
OU in the playoffs, and
Lincoln Riley reminds me of like Cliff Kingsbury kind of.
mm-hmm,
He's
yeah,
kind of like a clean cut guy. He can talk well. He can
sure,
go into the living rooms of parents and be like, "I want your son. He's gonna be good in my hands." I think he fits well in that mold of going to California and talking to those people, and I think he fits well in that culture. Get the hell out of Oklahoma, dude.
yeah.
I'll be happy to watch Oklahoma flail for 10 years. That would be
Yeah.
great.
I think honestly, dude, I'm looking into. I haven't been keeping up a lot with college football here lately, but always like whenever you come on, because we always make sure to bring in college football because I know that you follow it quite a bit and you can always update me on a lot of the things that I haven't necessarily been keeping up with that. I've been looking at this Brent Venable signing though for OU. He was the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach for Clemson, right? So like you said, he's got the SEC test, and I'm looking. So it looks like his contract so far is not entirely approved. Like the Board of Regents still has to approve it. They're saying, but they're gonna pay. It's saying that he should average to $7.25 million a year to coach that team. Sign me up, buddy.
Yeah.
But it says it's going to run through the 2027 season. So this kind of makes sense the way they're structuring his contract. So they're going to the SEC, and I believe that starts in 2025, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
2024, 2025,
Fact
something.
check that.
Yeah, something along those lines. It's coming up, right? So this guy's got a
Yeah.
long contract. So I think they're planning for the future of getting ready to enter into the SEC. So the
2025.
the Big 12, they've always been known for their lack of defense per se on a lot of their teams. It's always been, high scoring offenses. I think OU's realizing, hey, we're moving to the SEC where the offenses obviously are high scoring, but you've also got to have, the greats of the SEC, like your Alabamas, your Georgias, things like that. Their defense is impeccable. Like they can shut down any offense in the country or in the country on any weekend. So I think they're seeing that. So they're switching to maybe more of a defensive minded head coach who's going to get that defense built up. So that way, whenever they do enter into the SEC, they've got it going. His contract's through 2027. So 2 seasons in the SEC. See how he does,
See how it goes. Yeah.
and then they're gonna. I don't foresee him getting terminated at any point or fired during this time of prepping to go to the SEC. This looks like it's 100% a contract to get him prepped for the conference
yeah.
change, and is what it appears to be.
And it makes sense to sign a defensive coach going into the SEC. The SEC is predicated on defense. Rough and tough, destroy them. We'll see though. I mean, easy recruit in Oklahoma. They have a long pedigree of being very successful. I mean,
Correct.
the years with Bob Stoops. Before that, Jimmy Johnson. They had Troy Aikman played there. I mean, they were really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you roll right into Lincoln Riley. Like they didn't miss a beat. They typically fare pretty well. I like seeing Oklahoma State play well because my sister went to school there, and
Yeah.
they're kind of a pseudo team for me from A&M, but. I feel bad for the Big 12. I'm curious what the Big 12 is going to shape up to be.
Yeah.
But
I think that they'll
it'll
still be
interesting.
decent. You got teams that I think that are on the come up a little bit. that I think are going to help the Big 12 that are coming in. Like they're bringing in Houston, which Houston has been doing well. They've been making a lot of bowl appearances the last few years.
TCU, Baylor.
Baylor's still in it.
It's basically a
Texas
conference
Tech.
now.
Who else are they bringing in?
Well, Tech has been crushing it when it comes to basketball and baseball.
Correct.
But when it comes to football they haven't done much.
No, they haven't been good since the Michael Crabtree days.
Dude, those were fun to watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed.
Mike Leach.
Yes. It's been a long time since they've been good at the footballs, but maybe they'll start shaping up and become a division or a conference leader now that UT.
I'm here for the Red Raiders, man.
Yeah,
I'm here for the Raiders.
I've always liked their color scheme. I like their field too. The turf field with the black and the red. I don't know. It always just looked good.
Megan's old softball coach at Loyola Marymount is now the head coach at Texas Tech.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
But no, I love the Texas Tech. Man, when they were like the first ones to come out with the Under Armour jerseys, they were so
that's right. Yeah,
the black.
Yeah, they were pretty slick. I remember when we were in when we were in high school. That was whenever all that shit I think was coming out that you were talking about, and it looked crispy. It was nice. I enjoyed that. But as an A&M fan, I never enjoyed actually watching them. But
well, when they came out with the all grays.
Yeah, those were good too. Yeah,
I was like, yo.
Yeah.
I mean, A&M had the best jersey, the all whites. Those were legit.
Yes, I like those. The Longhorns, they've never really done anything different. They're just traditional. Keep their orange and white and
it's so ugly
and keep it moving, But and then the all white
keep it moving
away unis. We'll kind of start bringing this one home, I guess. We've been going for a bit. I mean, shaping up today, what are your predictions? Switching back over to the NFL real quick. You've got, let's see, big games for the day we've already talked about. Let's just kind of see who we got here. Games that we would actually give a fuck or give a shit about. I like how I corrected one swear word to another one.
Way worse.
Let's see. The Cowboys, man, I think they're going to take Washington. I think it's going to be – I don't know, though. Washington's hot. Washington's hot. You nervous going into that game? Not nervous?
No.
Not even a little bit?
Fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
No, I'm not nervous. Dude, I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life. I've seen way worse.
Yeah.
It can't be worse than the 04, 03, 02 years. I was 10 years old watching Chad Hutchinson and Quincy Carter play. It can't be worse than that. So, yeah. Am I nervous they could lose? Yeah, I think they could lose. I got Dallas. I got Dallas by 7.
Nice. Yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to take that one home. The Washington's got the home field advantage, but
I'll give you a score.
All right.
I say 24-17.
Okay.
Dallas.
All right. I'm going to go with 31-17. I'm going to give the Cowboys more points than you did. 31-17. I think the offense is going to look good today. I think they're going to look real good. Another game that we didn't talk about earlier that's going to be a good game, the 49ers and Bengals are shaping it. The 49ers been looking pretty good lately, I feel, right? Yeah.
I got the Bengals.
I think yeah.
What's his name's hurt? Their running back.
For who?
I can't get his name right now. Samuel Debo.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Irvin.
No, that's a receiver.
No.
What am I doing?
Or is it Elijah? The running back. I don't remember his name.
Yeah. Elijah Mitchell.
He's Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell is hurt. So he's not going to play. Jeff Wilson Jr., I think, is going to be the running back. So I think Bengals are going to crush them. I don't say crush them. I think Bengals by 3.
Gotcha.
I'll say Bengals win. I'll say Bengals win 27-24.
Okay. I'm going to say Bengals 2013. I think it's going to be a lower score.
It's a good year.
Yeah, 2013. Hey. You think the Bills are going to get back on track today? Bills and Bucks going into Tampa. Hopefully better weather than last Monday.
I think Tampa beats them. 45-20.
I'm gonna go the
I
opposite.
think they blow them out.
I think the Bills get this back on track this week. I think they come in pissed off because they've been sucking here lately, and I think that they're gonna.
They'll be playing in Tampa, so it'll be nice weather.
I think they're gonna be focused. I think the weather's gonna be good. I think they're gonna come in knowing that they're playing against Tom Brady, and
I think the Buccaneers crush them.
yeah,
I think this is Tom Brady's time where he starts picking up. They had a lull in the middle of the season.
I think the
Tom
Bills
Brady,
D keeps them in it.
we'll see. It'll be a good game. I don't say 45-20. I'll say something closer, like 45-31. I still think they beat them. I still think they beat them by a lot.
24-17 Bills.
All right.
And Stephon Diggs is gonna get loose and get a touchdown this week too.
I'll give you a game real quick here. The Baltimore-Cleveland game. I think that's going to be one to watch.
Baltimore-Cleveland. Let's see.
I say Cleveland wins. I hope Cleveland wins 21-17.
Okay.
I like that number for some reason.
I think Baltimore wins, and I think they win big. I don't think the Browns are gonna play. The Ravens, the Ravens are wishy-washy. That's the problem. I don't know which version of them I'm gonna get this week. I think we're gonna get a good version of them this week, though. I think that the Ravens. I think they're gonna put it on them. Say 31-24, Ravens.
I hope if Cleveland wins, I hope the 2 touchdowns that Baltimore gets are DeMarcus Brown. So
yeah, I gotcha. We'll wrap this up. Last two games.
We gotta do the last.
Well, last 2 games. I said we'll get. I was more so saying we're bringing it home with these 2 games.
Yeah.
We'll go Rams Cardinals first. Even though it's the Monday night game, we'll talk about that. I gotta end it with the Bears Packers. Sorry.
This one is going to be interesting because they're both up and down. I mean, like Arizona's hasn't been down much, but I just don't think they've been playing that great. Los Angeles is starting to kind of pick steam up a little bit, but they can't run the ball. They're in Glendale. It doesn't really matter. I want to see Matt Stafford go off, man. I'm going to say it's going to be a close one. I'd say 38-35 Arizona.
Okay. For this one, I'm going to say Arizona takes it as well. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a blowout, to be honest with you. I think the Cardinals are a really good team. I think also the Rams, I think they made the biggest mistake this year. I think they were if it ain't broke, don't fix it team. They tried to fix it. And what happened is in turn, their team is broken now. They brought in Odell, they brought in Vaughn, and they haven't really done well since then.
They brought hold on. They brought in Odell, their second best receiver, because the best receiver in the league plays for the Rams. Cooper Kupp. You take any stat by anything, he's the best receiver in the league. But they lost Robert Woods.
Yeah.
And Robert Woods was an integral part. So I think as Odell plays more, the better they'll get. Because Stafford's a much better quarterback than Baker Mayfield is.
Sure.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that for sure. I think Stafford is a better I think he is a great QB, but I don't know though, man. I think the Cardinals got it this year, man. If there's one team in the NFC I'm worried about for the Packers this year, it's the Cardinals. That's who I'm worried about, you know. But I think the Cardinals run away with this one. I think it's gonna be, I'm gonna say 41-24.
Oh wow, okay.
Switch.
I was close between one or the other winning, and I would not be surprised if LA beats them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but I don't think it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like,
what's the money line on that one?
Let's see. I'm not sure.
I'm always curious on the bet and what. Let's see. I don't even know how to look at that.
Negative 136 right now for
Arizona.
Hold on. Money line is Arizona is the 136 favorite.
Okay, what's the
point spread is 2 points. Cardinals are a 2-point favorite.
I mean, look at that. That's a tiny point spread.
I think Yeah, I mean, I guess I think the Cardinals are gonna get loose. I think it's gonna be a blowout. I think they're
We'll see.
I think they're gonna be up to the task on Monday Night Football. I think that the Rams will not be, man. I don't know, man. I think they rocked the boat too much by going and acquiring all these players. I get what you're trying to do, trying to make a run, but dude, you had the team already. They were 5-1 when they did that, and they're now a 4-loss team. Like,
Well, I do like the Von Miller signing.
yeah, I mean, I like him. I'm not saying that these guys are bad players. I'm not saying that your team is, or I'm not saying that they can't help.
I don't think Odell's not old Odell, but I
Yeah.
think that he at least puts you back into contention when you lose Robert Woods.
By all means, I'm not saying this based off of skill of either player that they brought in. I'm just putting out there that you had everything flowing just fine, everything gelling just fine. Why are you going to change it? I will say the one thing that I'm nervous as a Packers fan, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing to be nervous about. We're getting healthier as the season goes on. We should be getting Jari Alexander back. The Smith brothers going to be back soon. Aaron Jones will be coming back, or I think he came back last week. But we're going to be getting a lot of pieces back. That's great because they're great players, but we've also been gelling really well when we start introducing new people into the lineup, and they've got to kind of shake off some of that rust. What happens?
But for defense, it helps.
So, yeah, I mean that was my thing with the Rams. I think they just shook the boat or rocked the boat when they shouldn't have. Shook the boat. That's a dumb saying. Rocked the boat when they shouldn't have. But shaking it. But
all right,
last game.
What you got?
Oh, dude, come on, man. Bears, Packers. And you already know, Aaron Rodgers is about to get loose for about 4 touchdowns today. He's going to tell the Bears that he owns them once again, in case you haven't seen the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what he said last game. The Bears are aware that he's owners of the team. That's what Matt Nagy said earlier this week. They asked him, they said, hey, have you heard what Aaron Rodgers has said? He said, we're aware. I take that as he's aware of the new ownership changes in Chicago and that he's just willing to accept it, and he's okay with playing for Aaron Rodgers.
What's your
score prediction? All right, realistically, I'm talking a lot of shit, obviously, because it's rivalry weekends. The Bears always play us well. They've got a good defense. I think we still win just because I think we're a better team, but it is rivalry game. Anything can happen, but they are coming into Lambeau. It's going to be cold as shit, but both teams are used to the cold. Rodgers always plays better in the cold, though. I think the Packers run away with this one. I think it's gonna be 31-17. I think it's gonna hold. I think it's gonna hold close for the majority of the game, though. I think the scoreboard will not reflect how close the game actually is.
I agree with you. I think it's gonna be 31-10, and the Bears are gonna score all their 10 points in the first half. It's gonna be 10-10 at halftime.
Yeah.
And Rodgers is gonna come out and they're gonna blow him out of the water.
That would be a safe prediction for sure.
Because I think Chicago is going to come out pissed off. They're going to play with fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to come out. Their defense is they're going to be hitting. They're going to be swarming to the ball. And then when you start too high, what happens? You end really low.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to happen to the Bears.
Yeah.
31-10.
31-10. I think I was giving them a little bit more credit. I think you may be more in line. I forget that the Bears' offense is not that great. I don't know, though. We'll see.
Be fun.
Yeah, I think we got a good day of football, though. I think it's a better day than some of these weeks have been lately.
Last 2 weeks have been brutal.
Yeah, and part of the problem is I feel like they've been cramming like bye weeks, dude. Like it feels like they put them all at like one time, and it's like, hey, can we maybe get it different time, maybe spread these out. I get they're trying to give a lot of the teams probably late season bye weeks, things like that. But I feel like it's made some of these weeks a little rough per se.
Yep, agreed.
But anyways, man, dude, as always, brother, always appreciate you coming onto the show, hanging out with us, talking some sports this morning. Yeah, it's a team thing. Definitely going to be doing some more. But all y'all tuning in, I appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure to like, subscribe to the show. Till next time, peace out.